how I think 3D printing was overrated.
Go. I love
Um,
that from a 3D printing startup founder.
yeah. I honestly thought that. So I think that generally when you read press coverage about printing, um, it's just incredibly like overblown. The claims are overblown. People tend to come away with thinking you can just make anything. Complexity is free. I can make whatever geometry I want, and it'll just work. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Like especially with metals, there's tons of labor and post processing that has to go into making your part. Generally, you have a raw part that you have to make, and then like after all the post processing you have to go through that, you're losing several hours of operating time. Generally, you have to design the part in a way that can be suited towards printing. I think that there's just a lot of difficulty there. And so people just underestimate how much time and like effort it takes to like make metal parts. Um, I think that's one reason why printing is terrible. Another reason why I think printing is like really awful is because uh, I think what people don't understand is that you can't just take an existing design and print it. Um, in the real world, the way manufacturing is done is you basically design the part knowing the manufacturing method in mind. Like the parts have to be designed for manufacturability, otherwise they won't be built at all. Um, Otherwise, it just stays as a CAD model on your computer. Um, and so you can't just take an existing part. Like, Tesla's not going to take like their like Model 3 chassis and just print it on a metal 3D printer.
Hmm.
Um, they have to prototype with the machine tools that they have. And so there's like this huge process of prototyping the machine tools they have to go through. And that's what kind of confines like the limits of what's going on. Like a lot of people in tech talk about stagnation. And this is kind of tied in. Like I think a lot of people talk about stagnation in tech, and you could say largely it's regulatory. I think it's just too easy for people to rationalize that, oh, we shouldn't build this thing because it's too hard or expensive to manufacture. And so if you don't solve that manufacturing constraint, or at least get rid of that excuse, you're not going to solve stagnation because it's really hard. It's really easy for people to rationalize yourself out of building something. It's like, oh, this is like a little too hard to manufacture. It's not practical. Think about the feasibility. I hate the word feasibility. It's important, but it's
Hmm.
also one of the most annoying words. So I think that with metal printing, what it allows you to do is, or at least hopefully what it allows you to do is iterate on your part. And so you can kind of treat it like with software, what's nice is you can type your code, run it, and then it breaks and just like change a few things and keep running it. And that's how you learn. There's like this feedback loop where you can learn really quickly and like make really cool things quickly on a computer. It's not true in the world of hardware. And in mechanical engineering, because with the part you spend hours making the part. The design's the easy part. Making the things like way harder and it costs money and it's really annoying. Um, and so I think the goal is to make metal printing. First of all, it has to be low cost enough. It has to offer like high strength, but it has to be easy enough to operate that you can essentially just take your design, print it out, and you're able to like see, oh, it didn't work. Let's see what changes I have to make to the part in order to make this like functional, and you can iterate really quickly. Um, and I think that if you can iterate quickly on metal parts, then it can do a lot for fighting stagnation. Because now, in the like big aerospace companies, a lot of times it's like you'll have an argument in a meeting talking about, okay, do we really want to change this part, or can we just make like a small incremental improvement? And
Hmm.
with a metal printer, you don't have to like develop new machine tools to build that part. You can just print it on a metal printer, and if the part or if the printer you're using can produce parts at a low cost and quickly with minimal post processing, then you've kind of gotten rid of any excuse for like not making progress with your parts. Like now you can iterate and start from scratch and keep changing the design.
Nice.